My makeup is done, so I thought I'd do a video. I've got my eyes all done up for the Gish scavenger hunt thing, which I've done doing it. I picked a few items, did them with the kids. They got hot and tired and didn't want to do it anymore, so we gave up on the last one. I sent them over a couple of smaller activities that were made for the kids to do. If they got bored, they could do those. I decided I wanted to tell the story about Tractor Guy. This is a different angle, a little bit different. That's me. You're not cute. Anyway, it was a really weird experience. The first time we saw him, it was last school year. I believe so. Or at the very beginning of this school year, I can't remember. I'm sitting out on the front porch. The kids just got off the bus and they were playing outside because it was a nice day. And this guy stops by. He's on this big noisy tractor, and I was on the phone trying to get information on scheduling my Botox procedure. I think that's what it was for. I didn't hear anything that Sarah said, and she couldn't hear me tell her that because he had pulled up and he was on this giant tractor and it was so loud and noisy. I kicked Walker out of my room. Walker, I am right here. You will live. Fine, we'll do it with you in the room. But we're closing the door. We're closing the door. Don't lift my armpit, you weirdo. Lay down. Lay down. Walker, hut. There you go. Anyway. Hi. Look at my messy room. I'll probably cut this out, but that's just so messy. So he pulls up and he asks if we had any scrap metal. I told him I didn't think we did. And I thought it would be the end of it, that he would go. But then he must have noticed my braces because he asked about them. And I kind of shouted a simple explanation at him. And then he mentioned if we needed a ramp on the front porch because we don't currently have one, he could do that for us. It's like, okay. I'll have to bring it up to my sister and my brother-in-law. So he left and didn't get anything of it. And I don't remember how much time had passed, but I was coming home from a catheter change appointment, got off the vehicle, and I was putting my wheelchair in the shed. I have to back in, and I had brought this little ramp thingy I have to put at the threshold of the shed to get it to go in to the shed. So I did that, and I got it stuck because there's also a scooter in there, and it's a huge scooter. So there's like just enough room for my wheelchair. If I turn it just like a centimeter in the wrong direction, it gets stuck. And I can get it in all the way, and I couldn't even get it back out. So thankfully, my sister had not left for her job at this point. She went in at noon, and I must have had an early appointment to be back before she had to leave. Walker. The door is closed. It's going to stay closed until I'm done with my video. You're okay. No. He moaned at me. So she comes out, helps me get it unstuck, and get it back in the shed. And then she goes back home next door. And I get my shed locked up, and I get up on the porch. And this is where I'm going to say a little thing of advice. Always have your keys in your hand. If you're on a vehicle that's bringing you home from your appointment, have your keys out and ready to go. Because I didn't, and I had to dig for them. That was gross. I just nudged my nose. Um, I had to dig for them out of my book bag. And I think I had my wheelchair charger in the book bag because I started bringing it to all my appointments because my wheelchair is not trustworthy when it comes to battery power. So I really had to dig for it. And I had my back to the street. And I hear the familiar sound of the giant tractor pull up. I'm like, he's back for scrap metal again. So I turn around and he shuts off the tractor and gets off the tractor. And at first he just came up to the bottom of the steps. That was fine. I was on the porch at this point. I was almost to the point of putting the key in the door. Oh, it was almost there. I was digging it out of them. I think I had them in my hand at that point. I was so close. Just another couple of minutes. If I hadn't got my wheelchair stuck in the shed, I would have been inside the house when he went by. But no such luck. So he comes up and he starts asking me all sorts of questions about my braces, my drainage bag. I wear the drainage bag. I don't like the leg bags. He even made a point to like kind of touch the leg bag, and then he touched my leg brace at one point. So I'm starting to feel very uncomfortable. And then he just sits, he comes up on the porch. At that point, he had come up on the porch. And he sits down and he's talking to me. And he basically starts hitting on me. Like, he's asking me if I've ever been interested in dating, if I've ever dated before, which I have not. And I'm not interested at all anymore. I'm just not, I'm fine where I am. I don't feel the need to get married or have kids. I have 6 nieces and nephews. Family is always around. My life is full. But he starts asking me this, and I tell him, no, I'm not dating anyone, which was stupid. I should have said yes. I know that now. I'm going to give you that advice. If this situation happens to you, say yes. Say yes, and they'll be home any minute. Say that. Seriously. No, he didn't seem mean or like aggressive or anything. Just made me very uncomfortable. And he started saying things like, I could come over, you have a room in the house? I'm like, yeah, I have a room in the house. He's like, well, we can sit in your room and cuddle and talk and whatnot. And he kept asking if my sister would be okay with that. Like, she's my keeper. I'm becoming even more uncomfortable as I keep telling him I'm not interested in different ways because he keeps reforming the question in different ways. Again, I should have just said that I was seeing someone and they would be home any minute. And I wish I had had my cell phone in my hand. It was in my walker, which was right in front of me. I should have just gotten it out and texted my sister who was home. Should have. Somebody should have in this story. He wouldn't give up. Wouldn't take no for an answer. He wasn't getting angry or aggressive or anything. He just would not stop asking me if I was interested. So finally, he said we could come back, I could come back and we could talk, sit on the porch and talk. get to know each other. So I gave up and I was like, okay, come back. I think it was like 6:30, I said, because I knew everybody would be home. My dad would be home, my mom would be home, both my sisters would, well, maybe my younger sister would have been home. But my middle sister would have, my brother-in-law would have been home, because I didn't know what to do at this point. I've only ever had to deal with this online, and it's so much easier that way. You can just, if somebody's harassing you and you're telling them, no, I'm not interested, you can just block them and report them, if need be, which I've had to do multiple times. Sometimes I just block if they're just being mildly annoying. Other times they're like super aggressive about it and I have to report them as well. So I told him that, and I waited for him to leave. And I unlocked the door after he left. And I got in the house, locked the door, and immediately called my mother. I can't remember if she was home, but sometimes she would stop at home on her lunch break. Called her, told her about the situation, and I think I texted my sisters the situation. So just to be sure, I was like, "Are you guys gonna be home?" Oh, I think it was like 6:30. Is John gonna be home? I asked Mom, is Dad gonna be home? 6:30 rolls around, and I had decided to go next door so I could have dinner with my family. And sure enough, he stopped by. And my dad went over and talked to him. And he said he seemed just like a good old boy type. He did give me his number. I put it in my phone, so he called me at one point. I just blocked his number. He wouldn't leave, y'all. I didn't know what else to do. He called me like 3 times before I blocked him. And I haven't seen him since. I don't even think he's driven by this street either. But yeah, that was my tractor guy experience.